Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here, and welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we are back with part 18 of our F1 2016 career mode with McLaren Honda. Excuse me. And in today's video, it's going to be the US Grand Prix, and as you can see there on the right on the news feed, Mercedes have made 2 upgrades to their car, and Haas have made 3 upgrades to their car. So there are still teams that are developing the 2016 cars for this season, and you can see now Mercedes are at the top of the vehicle performance comparison chart. And I think the reason Mercedes have done that mostly is because, of course, they're in a championship fight with myself. But if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like on the video. That'd be absolutely awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here as well, so you do not miss a single video that I do produce. And as you can see, there is the trophy room, and you can see we are on massive fine form right now in terms of podiums. We've really been racking them through recently. And I'm really happy about that. But today, we're going to be starting things off with the track acclimatization test. As you can see here, we come through there, we got a red and 2 greens, but overall it was enough to get us the perfect score that we needed to advance through into the, to get the 50 resource points that we needed. Next up is going to be the tyre wear test, and as you can see, again, we get around there and we set a green lap, I believe, on that final lap, but the rest of the thing was all purple. So we managed to get a maximum set of resource points there. And then on the qualifying simulation run, we come through with the DRS there, and we do beat the target time that the team set us for practice. And as you can see here, here is all the resource points stacking in. We've got over 1,000 resource points now, which is absolutely awesome, because we're going to be getting a 25% bonus of the resource points that we collect from Singapore onwards. So we're in very good shape to be getting a lot of upgrades come the next season. But we've got a little bit of a change for this episode, and that's going to be a brand new rival. Now, of course, we've lost every single rival that we've had with Nico Rosberg since the start of the season. We lost 5 rivalries to Rosberg because the fact is the McLaren just hasn't been quick enough. And now Emma has decided that my new rival is Lewis Hamilton. And the reason that she's picked Hamilton as my rival, now there's 2 things. Number 1, it's because I lost 5 times to Nico Rosberg, which you can say, yes, Foxy, you're crap, but at the same time, I'm in a McLaren Honda versus a Mercedes in the first season. Or secondly, it's because my run of podiums has meant that now that I'm about not that far behind Hamilton, I think I'm actually tied on points with Hamilton in this coming to this race. Yeah, I'm tied on points with Hamilton at 242, I think. Maybe that's now put him as my rival because we're in a championship fight. Not quite sure, but we're going to go into qualifying, as you can see here, into Q1 there. We set a very good lap time, just slower than Max Verstappen, super close to his lap time. We're coming around the final corner then to Q2, and again, I felt really suited to this track. In P7 there, we were about a second off the pace, but I thought I could find that. But around America, I really love the circuit. It flowed for me, the track was nice, it felt good, and we're coming around the final corner here now, and I was so gutted when this lap time came through. We came across, and we are half a tenth slower than Vettel, just half a tenth. The top 4 are separated by less than a tenth. Qualifying was that close that it was less than a tenth between Seb, Rosberg, myself and Raikkonen. We were so close together, and I actually went wide into the second to last corner and I lost some time. If I got that second to last corner spot on, I would have been able to get pole position. Unfortunately, I didn't get pole position, and we're going to have to settle for 3rd on the grid. But hey, 3rd on the grid is amazing, and I didn't expect to get 3rd on the grid. So we're going to take that, and we're going to be moving onwards. As you can see, more resource points going to be given towards us as we validated our laps in Q1, Q2, Q3, and all of this stuff here. So you can see a nice extra 100 resource points in the bag for a good qualifying session itself. Our rivalry will soon show up on the screen, where we actually did do better than Lewis Hamilton. Of course, we managed to out-qualify Hamilton, so we're going to be getting better at him for the points for the rivalry. And then in terms of, you can see it here actually, there you go, we smashed Hamilton in that one, so that's really good for us, and we get a good set of driver standards. We stay at 10, which we kind of have been throughout the whole season. It's never really changed that much, but we're going to be getting our session goals from Emma, and you can see they are the race goals. So that was everything for practice. That was everything for qualifying. I was gutted that I couldn't get pole, but I feel comfortable around America. So let's get into the United States Grand Prix.
What fantastic enthusiasm we have for Formula One here in the United States of America. And it's an enthusiasm born from generations of memorable Grand Prix racing. Bruce McLaren took his maiden victory at Sebring way back in 1959, And John Watson's 1983 victory at Long Beach, well, that still holds the record for the lowest ever starting position for a race winner. We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, where 20 corners and speeds of up to 200 miles an hour await us on this magnificent racetrack. It's 60% full throttle with plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the two DRS zones into turn 1 and at the end of the long back straight into turn 12. What a race we have in store today. With me today is Anthony Davidson, a man who knows this circuit quite well. Why do you think, though, Ants, that this Grand Prix has now found such huge success since returning to the calendar in 2012?
Well, full credit to the race promoters. They have a Grand Prix in a part of the country famed for its love of motorsport, and they do a fantastic job of advertising it to the right crowd, and then satisfying them when they're here with excellent facilities. It also tends to help when the circuit itself is good, and that's definitely true here. The layout is interesting and it produces some exciting action. Hosting a thrilling title decider like we had in 2015 wouldn't hurt either, so the pressure's on then to maintain that kind of quality here today.
Okay, you can brake late into one because of the incline. It's a slow corner though, so make sure you stay out of trouble. Good luck.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Nico Rosberg completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a McLaren, Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton and Ricciardo, Button, Verstappen, Grosjean and Valtteri Bottas, Massa, Gutierrez, Daniel Kvyat and Sainz, Palmer, Magnussen, Pascal Wehrlein and Nico Hülkenberg, Haryanto and Perez, Felipe Nasser and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright, so as you can see, we are on the grid now for the Grand Prix today, and it's going to be a traditional one-stop strategy going from the super soft tyres to the soft tyres, and then we're going to be making that dash to the end of the race. So we're going to be starting things off with the formation lap. We always do the formation lap. We know how it works. We warm up the tyres, warm up the brakes, engine, blah, 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 blah. Luckily, you don't have to see the whole formation lap, as unfortunately for me, every time I'm recording, I have to go around and do this formation lap, and can I be bothered? No. I probably should turn off formation laps. It's just pointless. Like, it's the same thing every time, but we don't really care about the formation lap anymore because we have got 3, 4, now 5 red lights for the US Grand Prix, and it is lights out, and away we go for the United States Grand Prix. A shocking start from Vettel for the pole sitter. We go straight past him, and now it's a straight drag down to turn 1 between me and Rosberg. I've got the racing line into turn 1. We go a little bit wide, but Rosberg takes the lead of the United States Grand Prix, but we switch back on Nico Rosberg, and we're going to hang it around the outside into turn 2. Can we make this one stick? Going towards into the S section, we've got the line, and we get the lead from Nico Rosberg. A great set of overtaking from us. Vettel with a poor start, and then Rosberg getting absolutely done over in the S section with our switchback moves on him. A fantastic set of runs there, and we're into the lead of the US Grand Prix, which I was so happy about. Of course, with qualifying, I thought I was going to be on pole and then lead from the front, but we've had to do a little bit of overtaking. Luckily for us, Vettel had a rubbish start, and Rosberg, we managed to tactically get our way around, but we're coming through the hairpin now, and we are now making the drag down the long back straight. And again, this back straight, it's a very long one. It's not exactly short by all means. So it's going to promote a lot of overtaking later on in the Grand Prix. But hopefully we can stay ahead of the likes of Rosberg and Raikkonen and Hamilton and not have to worry about battling them whatsoever. But we're coming now down through the second hairpin and into this very difficult middle sector. It's not an easy sector at all to get right. You really got to be quite wary of this one. And I struggled a lot of this one in practice, and especially in qualifying in Q2 is when I struggled on this one. In Q3 I managed to nail it, but this section is so nice to drive, especially if you get it right here. Just tilting the car forwards and then full lock and then 7th gear flat out, even increasing our speed to their second to last corner. We got that perfect. If we did that in qualifying, we would have been on pole. And then we're coming around the final corner for what is going to be a perfect first lap. We do exactly what we wanted to do. We were upset that we didn't get pole position for this race. So what we decided to do is we started to do it on track and do it in the race. And we built ourselves actually quite a big margin as well between us and Nico Rosberg already. He's been scrapping with Kimi Raikkonen, and that's put him off. But let's get a replay of that entire first lap, see what went down. So you can see there, Vettel bogging down at the start. He's going to be losing a lot of positions. Hamilton gets stuck behind him. My teammate Jenson Button comes flying through there to go into 4th place for this race. As you can see him there just hinting down. Vettel getting forced wide, making actually a bit of contact there with Daniel Ricciardo, so a bit silly for him. We managed to hold it around the outside of Nico Rosberg, giving us the inside line into the first S section, and then we can swoop round the outside of the second part of the S section without Nico Rosberg having to trouble us whatsoever. So good stuff there, and we're coming through the end of this first sector. You can see the gap that we've already built on Rosberg. That was mainly because Rosberg had to back out of the first part of the S section, meaning that, you know, he had to slow down, obviously, for us. And then coming through this part, you can see my teammate there, Jenson Button, keeping in track with Kimi Räikkönen and Nico Rosberg and seeing what they're doing, and hopefully he can pick up the scraps of any battles that the two of them have. You can see, though, we've already started to build our advantage coming down this long straight, and that's kind of crucial, because Nico Rosberg is no longer going to be able to get the slipstream on us, and it's going to help us maintain our lead. Going down into the hairpin, my teammate Jenson Button casually sitting behind the pair of these, waiting for them to finish their scraps, so hopefully he can try and pick up some places. But Jenson Button has definitely been doing better in qualifying. Still struggling in the race, though, is Jenson, which we definitely need to talk about at McLaren. We probably need to start getting some upgrades, but of course we'll no longer be getting any upgrades until the start of next season, because of course we want to be focusing on getting as many resource points for the 2017 season, or 2016 part season 2, whatever you want to say. Kind of makes no difference. But we're coming around the final corner, and you can see the big advantage that we have built over Nico Rosberg. And now our main objective for this entire first stint is now, can we stay in front of Nico Rosberg, or can we maintain our gap as such, as we're coming now down towards turn 1 here, the difficult uphill section, and down into turn 1. This is actually lap 2, so I should have really turned off the replay thing in the top left for this, because this is kind of theoretically live. But we skip ahead to lap 5 of the Grand Prix now, and all my team, or everyone that was around me, have actually made their pit stops. But this is the time that we were meant to be coming into the pits, so it seems that the other drivers needed to get the undercut on me. I managed to maintain about a 3 seconds gap between myself and Nico Rosberg, so 3 seconds was extremely comfortable. Rosberg came in a lap earlier than me, so he's definitely going for an undercut to try and basically pit earlier, use the advantage of the fresh tyres, and then come through and try and take the position away from me. So hopefully he doesn't do it. We were pushing hard, especially on that in lap, to try and stop ourselves from getting in front of Nico Rosberg. But we're climbing up the hill now, down towards turn 1, and I don't see any sign of Nico Rosberg. We brake really, really late. We go super wide. Look how wide we went, nearly on the gravel there for myself. But there's a Mercedes driver right there, and that's Nico Rosberg. So we managed to stay in front of him. But the undercut has technically worked, do you want to say? Because now he's in DRS range of myself. And of course, as soon as that Mercedes is in DRS range, it's going to be so difficult, because I was only managing to maintain the gap. I wasn't increasing my lead at all when Rosberg in the first stint, and now I've got to try and fend off Nico Rosberg. You can see he's got the DRS. He's going to move to the left-hand side of the circuit, and he gets the job done on us there. But we're going to brake super late down into the hairpin, pick up a little bit of slipstream round the inside of Rosberg. We're going to make sure that we keep the position here on lap 8 of the United States Grand Prix, really making sure that we sort things out. But skipping on to lap 11 out of the Grand Prix, we go super wide going down into turn 1, and Rosberg's going to cut in on us, and Rosberg takes the lead of the race there. Rosberg got the DRS down the pit straight. Unfortunately, I outbraked myself trying to fend off Rosberg on the inside, locked up, and it's all problems for us. The Mercedes of Rosberg leads the US Grand Prix, but I felt I've been so dominant in this race, not going to let him get away so quickly. I'd try and stay with him in this S section. I actually felt like I did pretty well to try and stay with Nico Rosberg in this S section. You can see I lost a little bit of the back end. Rosberg now starting to pull away, better traction from the corner, but it's not over yet. We're braking hard now down into this difficult hairpin, trying to make as late as I can, trying to gain as much on Rosberg as I possibly can here. And you can see we're starting to accelerate. Not a bad gap there. Rich fuel mixture for myself, and now we've got the DRS. So we felt the pain so many times of people slipstreaming and DRSing us. So now it's my turn to show them the pain. Round the inside of Nico Rosberg, down the inside into the hairpin, just like we did on lap 8 of the Grand Prix. And we're back in front of Rosberg. No problems there. Chucking the car into standard fuel mixtures. We're trying to save a little bit of fuel so we can really push in rich mixture come the end of the race. I didn't have any fuel issues. I just wanted to make sure that I was +1 fuel on my Delta, and then I was able to push into rich mix after that. But we skip ahead now to lap 12 of the Grand Prix, and it's going to get a little bit tasty. Lewis Hamilton has now caught up to Nico Rosberg, so we've got a second Mercedes coming in, but as you can see, the pair of them have got DRS, and they are literally sandwiching me. The two Mercedes drivers are just sandwiched me, going down to the hairpin. We brake slightly earlier, and then we put back on the accelerator, down the inside of the hairpin. We managed to make the move stick, but Lewis Hamilton says, no sir, I am going to stay in front of you. But we go round the outside of Hamilton. Really great wheel wheel-to-wheel racing here from myself and Lewis Hamilton. Really having to battle for this when we go down the inside into this little hairpin here. But Hamilton switches back on us again. Hamilton's trying to fight us off, and now through this S section here, we're going to, well, not the S section, but through this triple right-hander, we stick to the inside line, and we get back in front of Lewis Hamilton. Fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing from myself and Lewis Hamilton. We really went side by side for a lot of that battle then, really trying to go for this one. This is a championship fight. We're level on points in the championship, I believe. If I win this race, I take the lead of the championship by 7 points. If Hamilton wins this race, he increases his lead to 7 points in the championship. So everything's up for stake here. Me and Hamilton are throwing caution to the wind right now. We're going through this S section now, lap 13 of the Grand Prix, and you can see Lewis Hamilton there right behind us. We're coming through here. We actually suffer with a bit of understeer. You can see it there. We go super wide there. We have to go back onto the circuit. Hamilton thinks about coming back in on us. No problem there, but we've got a yellow flag behind us. Someone has made contact behind us, and that was caused, unfortunately, by my understeer in the S section. My tyres have been going off, and it's Rosberg, actually. So you can see there's the understeer. I joined back on the circuit. Hamilton goes wide and then cuts in on Nico Rosberg. And unfortunately for Rosberg, he's now lost 3rd place in the race and gives that straight to Kimi Räikkönen. So bad result there for Nico Rosberg. Toto Wolff, I'm sure, is going to be super pissed off with that. But we're coming now onto lap 14 of the Grand Prix, the final lap of this race. And now Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Räikkönen both fancy trying to spoil my afternoon. I've had a fantastic race in the first stint. The undercut worked well, and it cost me the chance to just have a relaxing race. Hamilton goes to the right-hand side of the circuit, left-hand side of the circuit. For God's sake, I can't do my lefts and rights. But we brake super late down the inside into the hairpin. We managed to stop that perfectly, plant that car on the apex, and stop Lewis Hamilton from taking the lead of this US Grand Prix. As we come around the second sector, you can see the understeer in the car. By lap 12, my tyres had gone off, and then through the S section into lap 13, you saw that my tyres had gone off understeer, and that caused Hamilton to crash into Rosberg. Another problem that Toto Wolff will have to deal with. And then here on the final lap, I was just trying my hardest to get the car around the corner. We had the momentum, we had the speed, down into the second to last corner, get this one right. We go a little bit wide there, as of course, again, understeer, but Hamilton is not closing on us. Round the final corner we go, and we're going to make it yet another back-to-back wins in Formula 1. We've won in the last race in Japan. We've come back stronger in the US, and we have dominated in the US. In Japan, I did not have the pace to win this race. To win that race, I just got the strategy perfect. In this race in the US, I was so happy with how the car was performing, how it was handling, and how fast it was, and I dominated in this Grand Prix, and I felt this was a deserved victory. The last race was a lucky victory, and I can admit that. This one, though, was a victory that I thoroughly deserved. And that puts me into the lead in the Drivers' Championship. And for some reason, there's a random glitch here, and you can just see my guy celebrating throughout the entire time. Not showing the pit wall. There it is. Oh, no mind, it's gone. But there it is, guys. We win another race. If you did enjoy today's race, drop a like on the video. It'd be absolutely awesome. The first stint was extremely quiet. Nothing happened. It was then in the middle stint, the final stint, where it all kicked off because, of course, Nico Rosberg had managed to close the gap on us by pitting in earlier. Didn't get the undercut, but he did close the gap in on us, and it was a battle with us then. It was the Fox versus the Mercs, that race. It was the Fox versus the Mercs. We really had a difficult time holding those Mercs back, but luckily the back straight where the DRS was most effective wasn't quite as long enough, which is kind of why I'm worried, because of course the next race is going to be taking place in Mexico, and that pit straight is the longest straight on the calendar. And God, I'm going to have a nightmare there against the two Mercedeses, but hopefully we can do well. But for now, let's just celebrate this win here in the US there, standing on the top step of the podium once again. As you can see there, my teammate Jenson Button picking up 6th place in the race. So a very nice result for my teammate, actually jumping Rosberg, who ended up finishing in 8th place. Driver standings, we're now 7 points clear in the standings. We are now up into the lead of the driver standings with only 3 races to go. We've got 3 to go, and we've taken the lead of the driver's standings. So it's hotting up for the end of this season. It's hotting up, and we're hopefully going to try and take the win. Closing in on Red Bull in the constructor standings. I think that's going to be McLaren's aim now. We're actually getting quite close to Red Bull, so hopefully we can try and get them in the constructors championship and add insult to injury. Mercedes and Ferrari too far ahead for us. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy today's race. If you did, drop a like. Subscribe if you're new around here. Next race is the Mexican Grand Prix taking place at the Autodrome de Rodriguez. So until then, guys, I will see you for the Mexican Grand Prix. Take care. Peace.